you're going to either walk through or float through to seated, and we're going to bring ourselves to Navasana, which is likely to be like this with your feet on the ground. You might keep the knees bent and take your feet off the ground. Classically, the legs are straight, which is pretty tricky stuff for your lower back and your hip flexors. So really think about whether or not this is the best version of what we're up to. It'll be spicy regardless, I promise. Take a few moments here, sit up nice and tall, plug your shoulders into their sockets, and then we'll lower to Ardha Navasana, which can be with your feet down, it can be with your feet elevated and the knees bent, or you can keep your legs straight, but again, you're uber cautious about things like your lower back. Couple breaths here, hovering, firing up our belly, and up we head to our Navasana. Remember, you can have your knees bent for this bit. You can have your knees bent and your feet on your mat. Super. Couple breaths here, sitting as tall as you can, and then lower once again, Ardha Navasana. Perhaps with your knees bent, perhaps with your knees bent and the bottoms of your feet plugged into your mat. You're not huffing and puffing through your mouth. You're steady. You float it back up to Navasana. You plug those shoulders in their sockets. You start to feel the fire in the solar plexus inspired. Lower once again, Ardha Navasana, and hover for a few breaths here. Very nice. Stay steady. Float it up Navasana. Remind yourself that you can back it off. Take a full-on break if you need it anytime, or at the very least add those modifications that I've mentioned. Head back to your Ardha Navasana and take your right leg up to the sky. You can bend the left knee, you can stamp that left foot into your mat, and your neck may be feeling a little tender now, so maybe hands behind the head feels good. You're thinking of pressing that right thigh bone forward, not really trying to get it close to your face, instead lifting the shoulder blades off your mat and feeling as though it's more chest towards the thigh than thigh towards the chest. Couple steady breaths here. You want to feel the chin drop gently towards your chest like you're holding a little tangerine there and not letting it fall away, and also not squishing it. Nice, we'll switch it out. Left leg's going to head up to the sky. Remind yourself that you can bend that right knee, stamp that right foot down. Excellent. We're just going to switch this out side to side slowly. You can continue to put that opposite foot flat on the ground if that feels like it's a steadier way to go about things. Keep checking in on the status of your lower back and see if you can't lift those shoulder blades off your mat just a touch. We're going to stay here on the left side for a few breaths. Perhaps you reach the arms forward again. Maybe you add one of the modifications in the right leg. You still have your little tangerine secured underneath your chin, and you still are fully allowed to take a break if you need it and climb back in when you feel ready to go back in. A couple rounds of breath here. See if you can feel the left hip drop down, the left side of the waist lengthen. No pinching in that pelvic area, lower back area. A couple more moments, maybe hands behind the head here, and we switch side to side. And remember that you can add that modification of bending the knee and putting the foot flat on the ground of that lower leg should you need it. We'll head side to side here. Make sure that you've not resorted to breathing through your mouth. I know things are getting a little bit more intense now. We're going to twist now to the outside of that right leg. So you'll lift up. You can keep your hands behind your head if your neck is feeling tender. You can straighten out the left leg, or I highly recommend keeping it bent and the foot flat on the ground. We're getting into the obliques here, the side muscles, and we're adding a twist, as it turns out, to our abdominal work. And we're going to twist the other way. You have that option of bending the right knee, of putting the right foot flat on the ground, of returning your hands behind your head if you need them. Excellent. Try to stay steady here. Enjoy that twist and that fire in your belly, and then switch sides. maybe hands behind the head, and switch sides. So it's a little rhythmic, but it's definitely not rushed as we take ourselves side to side. Do what you can. Take a few more rounds here. Terrific. Now I'm going to stay put here on the right side. You can still put your hands behind your head if you need to and bend the knee if that's better. Just the right leg goes down and the very same right leg goes up. Just the right leg goes down. The very same right leg sweeps up. The right leg goes down and the right leg sweeps up. We'll switch sides with that, so remember your modifications. And we'll let just the left leg sweep down and sweep back up. Left leg goes down. Same left leg goes up. Left leg goes down. Left leg goes up. Right leg goes up, and you cross the right ankle behind the left ankle. And we're going to squeeze both ends together like a little bakasana, and then inhale and tap down. Exhale and inhale. Exhale like bellows. Inhale, tap down. Exhale and inhale. We'll switch it the other way. Right ankle on top, exhale together. Inhale, tap down. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale, and then come to center. You can reach the arms forward. You can keep your feet flat on the ground, keep the knees bent, or straighten the legs out, just like our earlier Ardha Navasana. Fire up your belly, keep your tangerine in place, come all the way up, Navasana, and then cross the ankles, pick up, maybe step it back, maybe jump it back, Chaturanga, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and then Adho Mukha Svanasana in a couple breaths. Head relaxes, heels sink down. Remind